I don't care what anybody has to say. The Sons of Silence would never do this kind of stuff, man. They're too old school. They're not into this. And it just came out of nowhere with this news article. And it's going all over the internet right now, which makes it even worse. But the media, something with them, man. They just will not whatsoever give both sides of the story. Let's go into it right now, and you'll see what I have to say here. Let's see here. It's out of WVLA Baton Rouge, Allison Brawl. And it goes on, 2 Prairieville men belonging to a motorcycle club were arrested in connection with an attack that left a victim with serious injuries. Now, look how they frame this from the get back. It wasn't 2 men that were involved. No, they had a throw-in motorcycle club. And you wonder, press, why these guys will never talk to you, never give their side of the story, because you start out like this in most of your articles. The Ascension Paris Sheriff's Office reported the arrest of Louis Olivias and Antonio Gregoire. They're both 38 years old, after a victim was left unconscious after an assault. Now, this is their claim. Deputies responded to a reported fight in the parking lot near Oak Plaza Avenue in Gonzales on the 29th of May. This story's just getting out. The victim was taken to the hospital in stable condition. Well, that's good stuff right there. Nobody died. Now, according to the APSO, investigators learned that the victim was trying to move his car. This is the story here. And you're tell me if you really think a member of the Sons of Silence would do something like this. The investigators learned that the victim was trying to move his car to another parking area when one of the suspects got into the car, and tried to drive off. So basically, they're saying that he tried to carjack someone. I do not believe that. The victim was reportedly attacked when trying to stop the theft. That's what they're calling it, is a carjacking or an attempted one. The sheriff's office reported that there was a second victim who was assaulted when they tried to intervene. Here, and had to say it, both identified as members of the Sons of Silence Motorcycle Club. And they turned themselves in on that date. Olivia was charged with principal to second-degree battery, felony theft of a motor vehicle. There goes the criminal street gangs and patterns of, this is the first time I heard this one, patterns of a criminal street gang activity, simple assault and disturbing the peace. Gregory was charged with second-degree battery and criminal street gangs, and they got him with this law, criminal street gang activity. Doesn't say what led to the assault. Doesn't say, it just never gives the club side of the story. What happened to who, what, where, how, when you're during reporting. It's unbelievable. But they're claiming that they're members of the Sons of Silence. Now, they don't talk about if the guys were wearing patches or if they seen a tattoo. None of this stuff is in an article that's going all over the freaking internet right now. Next one we're going to talk about right here is the Utah deal. And I got a short if you want to watch that. Coming up later on Deeper Dive, we're going to be talking about Harley Davidson and a major move that they did. But this one is written by Jeff Richards. A group of 30 motorcyclists pull over on I-15 in Iron County. And as you can see, there is a line of freaking cops, man. It's like they probably called out the whole entire freaking cop shop just for the motorcycles. They were claiming that they were riding recklessly, which, what, riding deuce? That's reckless? I don't get it. But as you can see right there in the video, it was like cop shop heaven. Approximately 30 motorcyclists, some of whom had reportedly been driving recklessly, were pulled over in northern Iron County in a coordinated traffic stop. Yeah, that's coordinated traffic stop right there. You guys were probably following them for freaking miles, conducted by law enforcement officers from multiple agencies. Coordinated traffic stop. So it wasn't one of they had to have been following them. I guess this happened before 6:30. Emergency dispatchers were notified that the motorcycles in the group were driving recklessly. So, it's probably from a civilian that gave a call. Officers attempted to stop the group near mile marker 63 on I-15. This, according to the Utah Highway Patrol Lieutenant Clay. Quote, the motorcycles made reckless maneuvers on the freeway and only a handful of them stopped, being the back motorcycles in the group. Well, it happens. They didn't hear you. If there was like 100 guys, they didn't know everybody was getting pulled over. It happens. Anyway, we got a good one here. Thunder Bay. Thunder Bay's first women's motorcycle club. They're marking 5 years. Jacob Henriksen Willis wrote this one. Thunder Bay's first all women's motorcycle clubs rides every Thursday night and is a regular presence at summer charity events. Rock on. Quote, we got all makes and models. I wish every club would do that, man. This Harley Davidson only crap. You're missing out on a lot of good people. That goes for the bikes and the women, said Road Angels founder Mandy Craig. We have doctors, we have sales reps, we have mechanics, we're all over the board. And, regardless of what law enforcement says or what the media says, that's the same thing with one percenters, too. They got people from all walks of life. I guess they were founded in 2021. The Road Angels celebrated half a decade on the road with the Busy May. They organized the Mother's Day ride and were involved with the International Female Ride Day and May Day in Bay facilities. Their next event, I guess, if you're up there and you want to meet them, is Rough Ride on the 28th of June. It's a motorcycle and barbecue event that raises funds for northern dogs and cats. Rock on. I guess some of them have been friends for over 20 years and making friendships, if you will. Rock and roll, man. That's cool to see that. It really is, where the women are getting involved now. Personally, I don't believe they should be wearing MC stuff, but like everybody says, I'm like an old school guy. I'm stuck in the 90s is what everybody tells me. But that thing with the Sons of Silence, it's hard to believe that they would be involved in something like that. And let's be honest, the two people were involved. It wasn't the Sons of Silence Motorcycle Club as a whole. Guarantee nobody gave orders to do that. But that's the thing, man. They're always lumped in with other, when somebody screws up, the clubs are lumped into it as a whole when that's not the case. Anyway, don't forget to go over to the music channel. It's on YouTube. Insane Throttle Music, man. Get your playlists out there. Got a big debut coming up on the 19th. You're going to love that one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what's up. Coming up on the deep dive, let's talk about some Harley Davidsons.
Insane Throttle Outlaw Rock, featuring Insane Throttle and Defiant Afterlife. Get your playlist full of pure rock and metal. Spotify, YouTube, and Apple. Subscribe and crank it up.